Hello, everyone. I just want to come on real quick. I don't have much time. I'm on my lunch break right now, but I just feel it in my spirit that I really need to start sharing all my dreams that I've been having. And I have not posted in a while because God has really been giving me a lot of dreams that things are yet to come. But this one that's been on my heart that I really feel like I need to share because my 6 year old and I had pretty much the same dream the same night. I have not told my 6 year old about my dream. Only person I've told my dream was my twin sister that morning. So I'm just gonna go right into it. When I woke up, it was so real because um, I made decisions in my life, early part of my life before my walk with Christ. Um, Decisions that I wasn't happy about, you know. And basically, God just really showed me that I will be reunited with the kids I have in heaven. But how the dream starts off, it was like I was floating in the air. I was floating in the air. It's like it was like a midway point where I was floating, and then I seen it was like fall because it was pretty grass. The trees was green. It was flowers everywhere. It was beautiful. And I sensed that no one was with me. It was just I was given a view of how beautiful this place was. And like I say, it was fall because of the the greenery and the flowers. I just knew. I just knew it was fall. And as I was like getting a tour of heaven, as I think I appeared to be, and all of a sudden the season changed to winter. The season changed to winter, and I can see snow everywhere. And all of a sudden, I seen this big old house. It was like a lot of people on the outside. And I seen this. Sorry. I started to see this little girl come up to me, and she was so excited. She was so excited to see me, and I remember asking her. It was like, first of all, it was like a line of kids. And this particular young girl, she was so excited to see me. It's like they was waiting on me. They was waiting on me, and and I remember asking her name, and she told me, but I couldn't. When I woke up, I couldn't remember. But I knew that was my daughter, a daughter that I decided not to have, um, and along with some more kids. And I knew those was my kids because in my dream, I just knew. And it's like I was being introduced to everyone until I got to like a midway point. And it was a boy, and the boy was kind of like he was sad, and his words was, um, "Well, Mama, what was wrong? Why didn't you want me?" And I remember telling telling him it was a decision I had to make at the time. But I can tell that he was struggling with the decision that I made. So he ended up turning around. He turned around from me and just walked away. Now I can see at the halfway point that I had more kids that I had to meet, but I was not allowed to see the rest of the kids because they turned around and walked away. And it was like I say, the season was winter when I met them. Now I've always wondered, because of the decisions that I made, will I be allowed to see them, or was I even worthy to go to heaven because of the decisions that I made? But God showed me that I am worthy and I will get that opportunity. But this is something I still need to forgive myself for. Um, but at that point, I'm sorry guys, but at that point, that's I was taken away, and I was at another scene, and this time it was still winter, but the trees was bare. It was like fire burning, and I had a sense that I was not in heaven no more. Um, and at this point, it was a presence with me, and it was showing me the things that showing me the things that's pretty much going on in everyday life. Um, Things that we should not do. Um, and it was giving emphasis on that particular sin. Um, Basically, watching porn. That's what I was shown, and as I was looking at it, I began to get disgusted. But I was made to know, you look at this, you look at this, and it was almost like these are the things that cannot happen. These are the things you need to turn around. And I really kind of felt like this dream was personal to me, because of who was in that dream with me. I'm not gonna say, but and I think some things need to be turned around. And I don't really know how to deliver that information to this person because they're not accepting. And this person is a Christian, but they're not accepting um, the reality of the things that God has shown me. Um, However, but it's real. So I told my sister this dream. I was we was driving. We was in the truck. So my 6-year-old was not with me at all. He was not with me at all. And but when we got back to the house, I began to cook breakfast. And my 6-year-old comes out the room and he said, "Mama, I had a bad dream." I said, "Well, okay, well, tell me." He said, "Well, Mom, I don't want to tell you because it's too sad." I said, "Okay, well, just tell me, are you okay?" And at that time, he said, "Mama, it's too sad." He just started to cry. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just making this video too emotional. But this is why I didn't want to share it because it's too personal. But anywho, I just really feel like somebody needs to know because God has really been tugging at me to share it. But anyway, he started to weep. He started to cry. I'm talking about crying, like bawling, crying. And I'm like, "Baby, what's wrong? What's wrong?" He said, "It's just too sad, Mama. It's just too sad." And I began to hug him and, just tell him to take his time and just whenever he's ready, he can tell me. And then at that point, he asked for his dad. He asked for his dad. And I said, okay. His dad was at work at the time. And when I called his dad, he pretty much FaceTimed him. And I was like, "Well, your baby woke up crying and he just needs to speak with you." He said he had a dream, but he won't tell me the dream. And so as he began to talk to his dad was asking him about his dream, and he just saying it's too sad. He don't want to talk about it because every time he talk about it, he cries. He said, "Well, have you told Mommy?" He said, "No, I haven't told Mommy." He said, "My boy, Daddy, okay, as you see, I'm fine." And he ended up getting off the phone with him. And so after I got the phone with him, I kind of allowed him to just calm down. And, I would cook breakfast, we ate. So when I seen that he was okay and he wasn't, crying or wasn't disturbed, his spirit wasn't disturbed anymore, I asked him. And my twin sister, like I said, she was with me at the time and she just went into the bathroom. So he started off, "Well, Mama, we was in this other place. The grass was green everywhere, and then it turned into snow." So when my sister heard that, she ran out the bathroom because I'm like, okay, I just had a dream where it was green everywhere, and then where it was fall, then it turned into winter. So okay, I'm listening. I said, okay. He said, "We was in another place, and And daddy left me. I said, what you mean daddy left you? He's like, well, he's like, it was another me with me. I said, what you mean it was another you with you? He said it was two me's. With it was two me's, and the other me was showing me around, and it was with me. But I ended up seeing daddy on a bridge, and I was trying to get to daddy because I was ready to go home, and daddy was like, no, he couldn't come with me. He couldn't come with me. Um, and he didn't want to take me, and that made me sad because I wonder why daddy didn't want to take me. So it's like, okay. Um, but I said, well, where were you? He said, well, mama, I was in heaven. I said, well, how do you know you was in heaven? He said, because I seen angels. I said, okay. Um, and he said that um, he was just saying that the other me was just showing me around. So he had stopped talking about it. I was like, okay. I'm looking at my sister like, okay. So I started to try to ask the right questions. I said, well, you said your daddy left you. I said, well, he didn't want to stay with you. He said, well, no, mama, he had a choice. He had a choice to stay with me, but he decided not to. And he left. I said, okay. And I said, well, I said, so did you see Jesus? He said, yes, mama. He said, I said, well, how did he look? Now, I've never talked to my son about, which he know God, but he don't know, like, he's the light, in his appearance and the way he present himself to us. I've never had that conversation with him ever. I said, well, how did he look? He said, well, mama, he was too bright. He was over my shoulder, but he was too bright. It was hurting my eyes. I couldn't look at him. Um, and he was me. He said him and the other him, which is two him. He said he had another person with him. He said that he was opened the gates for him. He went into the gates. I said, the gates? He said, yeah. I said, well, how did the gates look? He said, well, they had all kinds of colors that was beautiful. It was like the rainbow, mama. The gate is the color of the rainbow. And he said, I met all kinds of other kids. I had a lot of friends, and we were just playing. I said, okay. And so I don't doubt what he saw, not for a second. Even though our dream was not exactly the same, but the seasons was. So I really felt like it was a message that God was trying to give me, regarding a matter that has to be taken care of, and the fact that He showed us the same season. And my son was he was so hurt, that his dad didn't want to stay with him, and it's like we have to be careful of the choices that we make in life, um, because you can choose to worship the world and material things rather than worship God. And I know for 100% that's that's what it was about. Um, and he pretty much used his son to really try to relay that to him, because he ended up eventually telling his dad about it. And he was like, Daddy, you was in your uniform and you was in your truck. It's like things that he kind of paid too much attention to. His dad does. And I really feel like that God was using him to say, hey, you need to let that go. That's not important. That's not important. And I have not yet to tell my husband my dream, nor I have told my 6-year-old my dream. Like I said, we had it the exact same night about the season, and um, I I I just I know it's personal, but I just want somebody to know that whatever it is in your life is that's in this world is not more important than following Jesus. He is first. He don't want us one foot in and one foot out. He wants us all the way, and we have to choose. We have a choice. We have to choose to follow Him completely. And a lot of people don't understand that, and because they feel like, oh, I'm a Christian, I'll be okay. But no, as I'm learning, and I know the decisions that I made in my life that God has forgiven me from, and now that I know that I'm worthy to still into the kingdom because I chose to follow Him completely. I chose to change my life completely around where I no longer have the same people around me. Pretty much, I really don't deal with anybody, which I'm not mad about, because I know it was a decision that I had to make, not for me, but for Jesus, so He can use me in the way that He needed to use me. And it's important to listen, to be obedient all the time, all the time. It's important that we be obedient all the time. The time is not now. The time is not to really just live the way we want to live and think it's okay. It's not. Um, his time is very soon. His return is very soon, and I don't know, y'all. Like I say, I really didn't want to share because it is personal, but I feel like this can help somebody, you know. And if He can use my 6-year old, He can use anybody. Like I said, I've never shared any dreams that I've had with my children because I just feel like they won't understand right now. But the fact that he had that dream and he knew that he seen Jesus and that he knew his dad had a choice and that he knew he was surrounded by angels and how he entered the gates and he knew Jesus was light. He was too bright. Like he knew those things. I didn't tell him those things. So yeah, I have to go, but it's many more dreams I know I have to share, and I just want to be obedient to God's word. I'm sorry if I sound like I'm babbling, sorry for being emotional, but it was hard for me to share this, and I hope I deliver in a way that you guys understand and receive this message. You guys have a blessed day.